I'm the boy Hotspur, and here's more on the sacking situation and the possibility of Antonio Conte, which I've been dwelling upon, as us overthinkers do. So the news broke in the last few hours that Nuno Spirito Santo and his staff had all been relieved of their duties. I don't think anybody was absolutely stunned by this. But the breaking update from Sky Italy is that Tottenham has offered the 52-year-old an 18-month deal. Now this strikes me as a huge indicator that Daniel Levy is unwilling to commit to what truly needs to be done at Spurs. The core issues are burnt-out players who desperately need to be shifted on from Hotspur Way and start again somewhere else. And I don't think that's unreasonable. There's no malice here. It's just that we're all tired of each other and we're all tired of hearing the same voices and just seeing the same faces. Sometimes, in order to get the best out of yourself, you need to leave the company you're with and move over the road. No manager on this planet is going to suddenly start getting a tune from the likes of Dele, Alli and Harry Winks. But it doesn't. That's not the end of it. More recently acquired players who also haven't worked, and Steven Bergwijn, I'm looking at you, also need to be rehomed, and quite what the logic was behind returning Gollini to the Premier League also defies thinking. Harry Kane wants out. Let's just pause there for a minute, because I think there are some there that think that the new manager comes in, and like I referenced when Nuno was appointed, the business of having a pocket full of fairy dust. Now, nobody likes to hear anybody say, I told you so, but I told you I didn't think he had a pocket full of fairy dust, and sure as hell he did not. So the idea that Conte's going to come and Harry Kane's going to be suddenly focused and back on the, wow, can't believe my luck, just don't think it's going to happen. I think Kane wants to be surrounded by players who are ready and fit and capable of supplying him, because that's where he excels and that's where he's going to propel himself into being the player that ultimately he wants to look back on his career and see. We still have no playmaker, and this is really beginning to concern me, because mumbles about loaning Eriksen back from Italy are pretty cringeworthy if we're actually honest with each other. Now I know there's a lot of affection in the fan base, and we got the schmaltzy thing because he survived a cardiac incident. I'm really not interested. It's another race that's run, and it's another X that you go back to because you ignore the bad bits and you just focus on the good stuff because you're weak. Ben Davies is suddenly 28. I don't blame him for the goal in relation to Ronaldo against Manchester United, by the way. But, you know, this is the guy who comes out after a game where we didn't play well and says, oh, it took us a while to get going. Just a bit gormless. Matt Doherty looks to be an absolutely lost cause. And I have to be honest with you, nobody likes putting the knife into the kids. And they've been overexposed, or certainly Dane Scarlett has. But Jack Clarke and Dane don't inspire any confidence whatsoever at this stage. Joe Rodon is another one. You could argue that he's not been given the game time, but why is that? Is he incapable of shining in training? The next coach into this club needs to be backed. There's no two ways about it. Allowed to create and develop his own unit. That's how successful football clubs operate, which is something José Mourinho was obviously denied. And to do that, to achieve that, to seek to achieve it, 18 months just isn't enough. It's more damage limitation from Levy and co. It also suggests that there isn't going to be much of a war chest kicking about either, because how much cash are you realistically going to get through in 18 months? That's one summer window if you're lucky. Conte succeeded at Chelsea by revamping Mourinho's squad. And that was a squad that had won stuff under the special one. And that ultimately altered the fortunes of his Chelsea career. Will our players like him? Well, hold on tight. Andrea Pirlo said of his former coach in his autobiography, he needed only one speech with many simple words to conquer both me and Juventus. He had a fire running through his veins and he moved like a viper. When Conte speaks, his words assault you. They crash through the doors of your mind. Now, Pirlo may have had a ghost writer there, but this guy is a no-nonsense character. And we've had, rather embarrassingly, negative feedback because our little princesses and pansies and fairies, they didn't like Mourinho, nasty man. Serial winner, nasty man. Didn't like him. And they also, according to source here and source there, didn't care much for Nuno either. How are they going to take when Conte comes in? Conte's demands and prickly personality have also led him to fall out with some of his players, such as Diego Costa at Chelsea, and also the owners and directors at his clubs. That happened at Juventus and at Chelsea with the hierarchy there, and a legal battle actually ensued. This guy, and I keep saying this to you, great football men are not soft touches. He likes his teams to play with intensity, although he has been criticised for sometimes being defensive and counter-attacking, an accusation he often argues against. So I'm putting it to you. We're running back to Conte because we realise we've made a mistake. And I'm not holding my breath for an apology from you, Daniel. I'm sure that isn't going to happen anytime soon. But if we're running back to Conte, and Conte's interested, and I understand that he's actually in London now, he's not on his way, he's here. Is he coming to get a payday, or is he coming to do something meaningful? And if he's coming to do something meaningful, then what is he being given in order to achieve that? If this is a guy who barks at people and demands results, and like I said, gone through all of this, you look at all the great managers, Ferguson, Nicholson, Clough, the list goes on, but there's very few, very, very few great managers who are take a holistic approach to their teams and the management activities. I can't think of one. So, is Conte a serious option in terms of will he fit in with the bloody hard work that is dealing with ENIC? And beyond that, what exactly is he going to be allowed to do? Because Mourinho wanted to do something, and it might have been something quite sinister, like sell Harry Kane and give me some money so I can reinvent the squad and shake out some of the losers. Now, you might not agree with that, but something needs to be done, because the pocket full of fairy dust, that sketch, it doesn't work. Hopefully we'll get a decision later today. I'm being told it could happen later today, even in the morning at the latest. But 18 months, maybe Sky Italy have got it wrong, but they're usually pretty accurate, and that's why I'm talking to you about it. Good luck, keep it Tottenham.